And then I met with Senator Harry Reid. Thank you, George Knapp, for helping make that happen. Former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, who started the ATIP program. And during the interview, I didn't think about asking him this, but at the end, and he had like, I'll have 47 minutes with you, and then I got to go. And he's got all the security guards and big guys with earpieces looking at me. And I said, well, sir, would you mind if we could do a quick walk and talk? He goes, yeah, I'll give you 45 seconds. So I figured, well, while I'm walking with Senator Reid, I'm going to ask him what was one of the more astonishing aspects of the phenomenon that they uncovered during this Pentagon UFO program. And right away, without hesitation, he goes, the fact that there are incursions over our nuclear missile facilities, nuclear armed facilities, that is of grave concern. That was a shocking aspect of the phenomenon. And I thought back to that map that we'd done in the edit room. So I was like, I got to go back to the drawing board. So I spent a year. I contacted this guy named Robert Hastings, who's the guy who wrote the book on the connection between UFOs and nukes.
What is the book?
His name is Robert Hastings, UFOs and Nukes, I think. But in any case, I contacted him, and he's like, oh, I'm not doing too well. I got this heart condition. I tell you what, you can have all my archives, all the videos that I shot. So I went through all of it, and I put together just like a 5 or 10 minute segment in the phenomenon, that connection. And you got all these like missile control launch officers and people at Malmstrom Air Force Base, Minot Air Force Base, talking about these incredible incursions. And keep in mind, you're talking about people that we entrusted with the securement and deployment of nuclear weapons, okay? So if these guys are lying, that's a problem. And if these guys are hallucinating when they've got nuclear weapons at their disposal, that's terrifying. And it's happening all over. I mean, I've got at least 15 or 20 of these guys testifying, and Robert Hastings got a bunch more. My point is, there does seem to be a connection. I interviewed this guy, Robert Salas. Robert Salas was Lieutenant Robert Salas, Launch Control Officer, United States Air Force, has this incredible encounter in Malmstrom, or his people do, and UFO sighted a disc, and then his nuke starts shutting down. He said to me, I'll never forget this, and this is like 2002, this is part of Out of the Blue. He goes, well, James, very calm. You could see why he was a launch control officer, very measured. Everything that came out of his mouth was calm and measured. He goes, well, James, the way I see it, it's kind of like taking matches out of the hands of a baby.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa, right?
Well, that makes sense.
So there's a preponderance of testimony from these guys, and they're testifying right now to AARO, Sean Kirkpatrick. But we can get back to...
What does AARO stand for?
Look it up. It's an acronym. It's the new UAP task force. There was OSAP, then it went to ATIP, then it went to UAP task force, then it went to...
Why do they keep changing the name?
I know, they keep changing the name.
Like
maybe it's like a rebranding or something. Do you know, it's All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office.
Did you see the photo that I posted on Instagram of the story of the guy from Space Force?
Yeah.
It says we may be facing threats outside this world.
Yeah,
what the fuck does that mean?
I just don't even want to spend any time.
Space Force boss acknowledges the U.S. will begin facing threats outside of Earth. What the hell are you saying? What are you saying, man? What does that mean?
Can I read a statement that...
Can I ask you one question?
Absolutely.
Because we're still on the subject of the nuclear bases.
This is relevant to this.
How many of them were there? How many different sightings were at these missile bases and in areas where they're testing nukes?
There are a lot of cases. I think cases in just about all the installations in the United States. I mean, Robert Hastings can... every installation in the United States has cases? I can't say that definitively.
But a lot of them do.
A lot of them. I put 15, 20, 25. Let me give you another example. Joint Base, Rendlesham Forest, December 1980. It's a joint British-U.S. base. It's called the Rendlesham Forest Incident. There was a landing, December 1980. You've got Jim Peniston, John Burroughs, and this guy Ed Kabansag, thinking that like something crashed in the forest or something. They went out to investigate, and there's an object sitting on the forest floor. It's a kind of like a triangular shaped object, and it's dark, and it's warm to the touch, and they sat with it on the ground. Gabansag acted like as a relay between the base and where this object had sit on the ground. Jim Pennison took photographs of it. He had his log book. He wrote down the symbols that were on the craft, which were crazy. And then the deputy base commander, Colonel Charles Halt, I interviewed him. He had, because sightings can happen over a period of a week or more, a lot of times when you get these mass sightings. And even the deputy base commander, Colonel Charles Halt, became a witness. He was skeptical, and then he too became a witness. And he said that these objects, there's a recording of him while it's happening. It's out there in the ether. They were shooting beams of light down into the weapons storage area. That was December 1980. Phenomenal case, the Rendlesham Forest incident. These are like the cases.
What did this object look like?
It was a triangular-shaped object, not that big. I don't know, maybe 6 feet high, and it was black, and he said it was warm to the touch, and it didn't make any sound, very little sound, and then it lifted off the forest floor, maneuvered up through the trees, and shot off at a high rate of speed. Now, these are people that are responsible for the security of our nuclear weapons saying this. The deputy base commander, Colonel Charles Halt, saying this. Gordon Williams, the general of the entire base, I interviewed him as well. He talks about how the fact that this got out, it was a memo that was written by Deputy Base Commander Colonel Charles Halt that leaked, and the whole story got out. But those are the cases that I'm talking about that represent that 5 or 10% core that cannot be explained away in conventional terms. Defy after exhaustive research. I mean, Nick Pope talks about it at the MOD. He investigated it because it took place in England. He said there were radiation readings at the landing site.
Do these, the crafts that happened at the base, do they have photograph of these things?
Well, Jim Pennison says that he took photographs, and then they said the photographs didn't come out. That's what they told him.
So he took photographs to get developed, and then when they developed them, they said
that's what they said to him. Yes.
Yeah. So most likely they just said.
So then, one of the things that Colonel Charles Halt said, that the deputy base commander, is that a plane came in, and there was some unknown government U.S. agency. I know you guys are probably thinking I'm crazy now, but don't take it from me. I'm just telling you what they told me.
Okay.
Okay. That they came in and kind of sanitized the whole case. But that's a very good case, and it's one of the top cases that is it's been investigated in England, it's been investigated in the United States, and a lot of the witnesses have come forward on the record.